All right, guys, so we're back at it at another day, and today's task is now going to be to throw the hood on, and then we're going to have to start cutting the hood in order to clear the fender tubs now. Still contemplating how in the world I'm going to do that, because my plan was originally to I wanted to really pull the fenders off so I can be able to see from this outside, like where the clearance issues is. But on these trucks, the hood hinge is built in with the fender. So if we take the fenders off, we have no hood hinges. So I could just set it in the front, set it in place, and essentially center it up right here. And then what I would need to do is set the hood down, but I'm gonna have to pick it up from the back. I need to remove all this stuff, the sheet metal stuff that I haven't set in place. Remove the wheels. Well, actually, no. Yeah, remove the wheels. And what I'm gonna have to do is pick up or set the hood on the back end. But I need to take some measurements from the cowl to the top of the fender and kind of make like a little spacer so the back of the hood is right at the height that it needs to be when it's fully bolted on. And then once I set that in place, once I get the back end of it in place, squared left to right, I'm going to end up with the wheel off, fender off, tub and everything off. Once it's set in place, what I'm going to do is take this tub, set it into place, and just start slowly trimming the underside of the hood until this has plenty of clearance, because what we're going to do in its place on the hood is the remaining part of the fender tubs. This is going to get welded into the hood to reinforce it, to essentially tub the hood to clear. So that is my plan. Not sure how well it's going to work, but that's pretty much the only way I'm thinking right now how we can make some clearance. Because for one, I know rolling this forward, we're going to have to cut the bottom of this off to clear so it sits nice and flat. And I'm thinking this front bolt hole is not going to be useful anymore because it still needs to come way down. It might be all right, but the problem is the tub essentially on the hood is going to have to almost go into the hood hinge right here. So yeah, I think the hood's going to be another can of worms in itself. So that might take me a few days. So yeah, that's, I don't even, like I said, I have no idea where to start, how to do this. I'm just spitballing ideas. At this point, I'm just going to do how I do everything else and just wing it and see where it goes. I mean, worst case scenario, I cut too much or I messed up the hood, which would really suck for the owner because he would end up having to get a new hood for this thing. But I mean, we're gonna have to just figure it out and see and hope, cross our fingers that it comes out pretty good. And then from there, if I get overwhelmed, if it gets to be too much and I need to take a break from it, we'll move to doing the front cowl piece. And then after that, I mean, once we really have that in place, I need to finish mounting the fuse box. And then from there, we can start taking everything back apart, tack welding some of the sheet metal into place, make sure that's going to be easily removed how I want once it's welded. And then from there, we'll start doing some wiring, because then that's another thing we got to do, some wiring that goes from the fuse box all the way back. So enough chattering. So let me set this up into place and see what we can't do today on this lovely hot kind of summer day. It's getting pretty warm out there, so we'll see. Let's get to brainstorming, I guess you could say. right, well, there's the piece. It's not perfect, but I am not about to do another one and waste a whole nother sheet. So we're gonna roll with this and make it work. So mainly it's these big gaps right here, big gap right here, big gap right here. Everything else in the back is actually pretty good. Along the sides over here, it's a little bit of a gap over there on that side, but not too terrible overall. I might be able to, cause see how it looks like it kind of needs to come back. I might just need to shave off a little bit more on these corners. And same thing like right in here. Just shave off a little bit more and see if it'll settle a little bit better. I'm just gonna take my time, go around and trim it down till I like it. Once we're there, then I'm gonna start mapping out how I want to either send it like this and just keep it flat, or see if I can roll some beads in it. But the only thing that's keeping me from rolling beads in it is the fact that it's kind of got a curve to it like this. So it's got to still be able to fold down. Otherwise, I'm going to be fighting it once I do the beads in it with the bead roller to try to get it to sit down and weld up. So don't know how much I'm going to do or what design I'm going to make. But as of now, I'm just going to shave it down around the edges to kind of get it set a little bit more. And then we'll work on filling any spots over here. And then we'll work on like filling this little filler right here, covering this hole, and then just finishing up everything else around and seeing where we can go with this. And then that'll be it for this. This will be done. Let's just focus on this. I'll get this cut, trimmed up, and then start kind of laying out a design with some tape first as to where I want to do the beads, and then maybe punch out some holes. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see. And then later today, I need to do a little bit of cleaning because it's getting messy in here. I've already cut myself a couple of times from all the scrap that's sitting around or nudging everything. So have to do that as well. Alright guys, we're back in the garage in the scorching heat. It is pretty toasty in here, but I have found a trick to getting it to cool down in here. And that's with, have this and this ice blocks that I'm gonna throw in my portacool over here. And that in turn does throw out a little bit of cool air, but not for long. It does end up getting, regardless, pretty warm in here. But this does help. So going to throw the ice cubes in here. And then once we do that, we're gonna hop back into this, this hood shenanigans here. So I gotta go grab my bead roller that's inside, and I gotta figure out how in the world we're gonna bead roll this thing to kind of make it look kind of decent. So I'm going to finish trimming it up a little bit better. I still have a few more corners that I need to trim up, and then once I do that, I'm going to kind of figure out the layout as far as how I want to roll the beads. In worst case scenario, I might end up having to cut it straight down the middle, just so I can like do a certain design, like kind of mirror match designs on each side, and then end up welding it back together in the middle once we do the bead rolls. So that is going to be the plan. So we'll see how this is going to work out. I try to tell you to get out of the garage. You're about to realize that it's going to get dusty and loud in here. So good luck. And then she's got the babies in here as well. Good luck, guys.
We still on it. Build on it. We still on it. We still on it. Build on it. We still on it. Build on it. We still on it. Build on it. We still on it.
All right. So, as you can see, we have finally all the filler pieces in place. Now, as you did notice in the video, I don't know if you did, but I did have to refill in this little cutout right here. I'm thinking I might have just cut this one a little bit too small, but it still matches the other side. It's not too terrible. So every filler piece on this backside is pretty much done. On the inside over here to kind of match the other side, and then the factory look over here. As you can see, I use my, I think they're pronounced Clayco, little stud things to hold my sheet metal piece in place. And now I'm just spending a couple of minutes here, just kind of spitballing some ideas or kind of seeing what I want to do as far as the layout for the design on the bead rolls. Now, I think I am going to end up having to cut it straight down the middle to be able to get, especially to like these inside corners. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it all as one piece, because I think from the edge to the center, I think the kit that I got, the throat on it is only 18 inches. So if it's deeper than 18 inches, we won't be able to bead roll it. Yeah, see, this will literally end up being like 21 inches if we go all the way out there from in here. So I'm going to end up having, probably more than likely, depending on how I make the design, I'm going to have to end up cutting it straight down the center and then just butt welding it back together, kind of like how I did here. So don't know exactly still what route I'm going to take as far as the bead roll. I know the bead roll is not going to be divoted in. It's going to be punched out this way. It's going to be an Audi, because otherwise it's going to be hitting those little cross beams that are in the hood already. And then if I do end up going with this design or this layout, I'm thinking maybe punch out like 3 holes on each side of this, on each side. I got my template still up there so I can lay out so I can still see like where those cross braces go, so I don't punch out a hole where one of those braces is. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna do some bead rolls and punch out some holes, flare them out, and just give it a little bit of a more definition instead of it being just a flat piece of sheet metal. So we'll see. I'm gonna just do it off camera because it's not gonna be nothing too interesting. Just me taping it off and seeing what kind of design I'm gonna go with. But once I finally choose a design, I'm gonna, if I end up picking it tonight, I'm gonna end up taking the piece of sheet metal to work and cutting it there, and then I'm taking my the bead roller to work as well with me because I need a bench vise and I don't have a table to put a bench vise, even if I had one here. I really want to get some sort of welding table to put in this corner. Get rid of this thing, stuff this somewhere, maybe put it in the back patio, and then do a sort of like a welding table area in this corner, and then have a bench on that. That's removable. So that's going to be the plan. Gonna spitball some ideas as far as layout, and then I guess you'll see the end result on the following clip.